thank God for the Diablo 2 modding community. I just gotta come right out and say it at the start of this video. The passion behind the Diablo 2 modding community is one of the reasons why I think Diablo 2 will last at least another 20 years into the future. Let's talk about it. What's going on, Diablo 2 fans? My name is Rebalancing, and today I want to make an overview/review video on the Project Diablo 2 community mod. I started playing PD2 again for the beginning of Season 10, with the last season I committed to playing being Season 2. Spoilers, a lot has changed, but it's absolutely worth trying out in 2024 if you've never played it. So what is the Project Diablo 2 mod? It's a mod for and by passionate Diablo 2 fans that aims to maintain the Lord of Destruction experience and provide consistent ladder resets while improving on the game as if development never stopped. So how were they able to accomplish this? The first key component was updating and improving upon Diablo 2's excellent base itemization. They were able to accomplish this via 3 different methods. The first was updating some older items in the game that were completely overshadowed by powerful rune words. The unique sword Frostwind is an excellent example of this. They added a resist cold aura and flat cold skills with further power possibilities from corrupting, which I'll touch on in a bit. This sword has been a great complement to my Arctic Blast Druid this season, and it's honestly refreshing to use new items instead of base D2 meta like Heart of the Oak. The second key itemization change is the introduction of completely new items like Shatterblade. I was using this item early on in the season for the plus skills and negative enemy cold resistance. And the third key itemization change is the new power that can be introduced via item corruptions. To corrupt an item, you simply transmute the item with a Worldstone shard for the chance to either add a random affix, the chance to add a random number of sockets, or the chance to brick it via converting it into a random rare. This can be incredibly rewarding or painful experience that adds an extra layer of customization to D2's itemization. But itemization isn't the only thing that PD2 has improved upon. They've also completely revamped a number of character skills while at the same time adding entirely new ones. Arctic Blast is probably the most interesting skill change that I've seen so far. I've never really played a channeling build before in Diablo 2 because they're just horrible to play. But this season it's received a massive damage buff, a large increase to skill range, as well as negative enemy cold resistance. The combination of these new changes has turned a once ignored skill into a viable skill to build a druid around. While Gust is an example of an entirely new skill added to the game. Gust is a teleport skill unique to the druid that starts with a 5-second cooldown, and each successive hard or soft skill point reduces that cooldown by 0.2 seconds to a maximum of 0.5 second cooldown. This skill ultimately provides the druid with a source of teleport outside of Enigma, which opens up other choices to use for your body armor. It's honestly impossible though to cover every single new item change, new skill, and skill rework in a single video, but what I can say is there's a lot more build opportunities that you can experience in Project Diablo 2. I'll link the Project Diablo 2 wiki below in case you want to do a deeper dive on some of the changes. But what good are new skills and items in Diablo 2 if you can't experience any new content? As much fun as endless chaos runs or bale runs are in base D2, it does eventually become boring. This has been addressed in Project Diablo 2. An entirely new mapping system has been added to the game. Maps in PD2 are very similar to how maps in Path of Exile work. A random new location is generated with bonuses to experience, monster density, magic find, and gold find, while also containing affixes that buff monsters and weaken players to create more challenging content to pursue. It's hard to reach a point where you can just run through things like a Hammerden and Chaos Sanctuary in base Diablo 2 because the maps provide much harder content for players to complete. But it doesn't stop there. You can also encounter random events during the maps as well, which continues to keep the experience fresh. For example, the first event I encountered was finding Guy during a map, which gave me the chance to gamble away a lot of gold for the opportunity to get some really rare loot. I was lucky enough to actually gamble a D-web from him during this event. The second event was a map inside of another map where a unique boss guaranteed a facet drop. The third event I encountered was a boss spawn where Neelathak continues to spawn endless wave of monsters for me to kill, with a really large loot reward at the end for completing the event. All 3 events have been really fun, and they did a great job of shaking up the mapping experience. What's crazy is I know I've only experienced a very small fraction of the total number of events so far. PD2 has also managed to add a variety of new challenging boss encounters as well. The first new boss fight is an entirely reworked Diablo clone fight, which makes the base Diablo 2 declone fight look like an absolute joke in comparison. It's now a 3-phase fight that requires a lot more gear and preparation to complete. The second new boss fight is Rathma, a brand new multi-phase fight that drops a special material that you can use to corrupt an Annihilus charm for more build power. And the third new boss fight, which was just out of this season, is Lucian. Completing this event rewards players with the opportunity to corrupt an amulet for the second time, as well as custom art for that double corrupted amulet. It's crazy to know that these last 2 boss fights contain entirely brand new sprite artwork as well. New content to complete is something that the Diablo 2 community has been screaming for years, and it's in Project Diablo 2 in spades. Mercenaries have also been completely revamped with new skills and support auras to make any option a viable choice. Gone are the days of the Act 2 Mercenary meta, and this also includes an Act 4 Mercenary, by the way. Yes, you heard me correctly, Tyrael now offers players with a choice to hire either a light or dark mercenary that supports magic damage or physical damage builds. And on top of all of that, PD2 has added a mountain of desperately needed quality of life, including a DPS counter, experience stat bar, extra stash space, stackable currency, a quick cast toggle, and a built-in loot filter to name a few. Now there are two crazy quality of life features that stood out to me among everything else though. The first feature being the ability to toggle how strict the loot filter is via an in-game scroll bar, and the second feature being a personal loot filter toggle. This works similar to PoE where loot that you have dropped from monsters you have killed remains grayed out for a period of time so only you can pick it up. Personal loot is amazing and it's encouraged me to farm in groups more than I have in the past because I don't have to worry about losing out on a job room because someone clicked on it faster than I could. Now, I'll admit, I'm a graphics whore. I like big resolutions and AAA graphics, and that's one of the reasons why I was hesitant to revisit PD2 after becoming accustomed to D2R graphics. I find the 25 FPS frame rate of original Diablo 2 really jarring to revisit. Thankfully, this has been significantly improved upon in PD2. There's a whole host of new upscaling options that can be paired with lumen sharpening and anti-aliasing presets, including an option to set the game's frame rate to the refresh rate of your monitor. The only thing that I personally find a little bit cumbersome with PD2 graphics is mapping with multiple players at the same time. There is a lot going on between your team's animations and monsters animations, but I honestly have this same complaint for every other modern day ARPG as well. I usually just end up farming soul to avoid this, so this might just be a me thing. But to sum up, PD2 is definitely not D2R graphics, but it's miles better than base 2, and it honestly looks great in my opinion. So you have all these new items, skills, and quality of life features. But what's the community like? Is trading active? Trading in Project Diablo 2 is as smooth as completing trades in Path of Exile. A synced trading website allows you to list loot from your personal stash in minutes, while the search function allows you to find anything that you want to trade for within seconds. I was also blown away by how tightly knit the community is. Every successful trade that I completed so far has been done through ground drops. I was honestly caught off guard by this at first, but it's a very active trading community. I've seen close to an average of 5,000 online players over the past week and a half. Now I do want to wrap up this video by covering one wishlist item that I have for PD2. I wish that maps dropped the currency that Anya sells for upgrading and rerolling maps. These items don't have to drop all the time, but it would be nice to see them occasionally drop. This would let me shift my focus a bit from farming items to sell for gold to buy that currency to only worrying about endgame drops. But at the end of the day, Project Diablo 2 is a fantastic community passion project that I highly recommend trying out if you've never played it before, or revisiting it if it's been several seasons since you last played. It continues to iterate and improve upon itself, and it's pretty incredible to see what the team has accomplished together. I'll leave links for the Project Diablo 2 community in the description below. But that wraps up today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you could throw a like on the video, I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, guys, hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you on my next video or live stream. Peace out.
To the